the Madman! Welcome to more cards from the Darkmoon Faire, and I'm going to lead off with what may be the strongest card that I've seen in the reveal season so far. A play on the Bearded Lady. It's the Bladed Lady. Demon Hunter, 6 mana 6/6 Rush Demon. Small little text importance here. Costs 1 if your hero has 6 or more attack. 1 mana 6/6 Rush! What's a realistic way of paying 1 mana for a 6/6 Rush? Well, you may have seen a very popular deck out there on the ladder right now. It's called Soul Demon Hunter. It features mechanics where you try to get lots of attack on your weapon or even without a weapon, and then you kill your opponent with them. Would they like having a 1 mana 6/6 Rush in their deck? And it does seem like you can consistently get this card out on turn 5, 6, or 7. Is this card good enough that maybe you want to be running Philosophy? Okay, let's not go that far, but Philosophy is pretty good when randomly generated and you have the Bladed Lady in your hand. 1 mana 7/7s! That's even better than the 4 mana 7/7. By the way, Rush. Hopefully enough testing happened on Bladed Lady. This card must have gotten a lot of testing, but it sure looks insane. Other Demon Hunter card revealed, Zai the Incredible, 5 mana 5/3 legendary. Battlecry, copy the left and rightmost cards in your hand. Additional information, the left and rightmost cards in your hand will stay the left and rightmost card, and the copies appear, to their side. Seems pretty good for a value-oriented Demon Hunter deck. Doesn't currently exist. However, if it did exist, 5 mana 5/3 generate 2 extra cards is very good value. Copying cards is both better and worse than drawing cards. Better because you can aim towards duplicating your strongest card in your hand. If you have an unlimited time to set up, you can get insane value off of the card quality that you copy. On the other hand, drawing cards is sometimes more useful because it means drawing cards can get you cards that are not currently in your hand to better be able to deal with the situation. So, sweet value card. I know a lot of classes outside of Demon Hunter would have loved that card. The fact that it's a Demon Hunter card, though, not actually sure if a value Demon Hunter will appear. Over in Warlock Land, we've got Fire Breather, 4 mana 4/3 Demon. Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all minions except demons. Looks pretty good. It's a Demon Wrath, but for 1 extra mana, you're getting a 4/3. Nice. On looking at this, I was like, oh yeah, of course you put that into a control deck. But maybe not. Because Crazed Netherwing exists, which is a 5 mana 5/5 Battlecry, deal 3 damage to all characters, if you're holding a dragon. Control Warlock doesn't really exist right now. I don't believe Demon Warlock Zoo will exist either. And as good as Fire Breather looks, Crazed Netherwing seems like it may be better. Also though, probably the most problematic is I don't know if Control Warlock will even be a good deck. But Fire Breather is a good card, and after the rotation, when Crazed Netherwing leaves, Fire Breather will probably be the go-to. Crazy card for Warlock, a legendary spell called Deck of Chaos. 6 mana, swap the cost and attack of all minions in your deck. The card to immediately compare this to is Luna's Pocket Galaxy, and by the way, this could potentially be better than just setting all the minions in your deck to 1 mana, because you're potentially buffing their attack as well. When I compared Deck of Chaos to Luna's, though, I started realizing, wait a second, Luna's is ridiculous compared to this one. Having all of your cards cost a flat 1 mana is way better than Deck of Chaos. And when I thought about all the cards that you could put into the Deck of Chaos deck, those cards are independently bad. And sadly, while Jiraxxus's main problem used to be that would take your whole turn, and now you can just, spend the 6 on the Deck of Chaos and then spend the 3 on Jiraxxus on a later turn. It's also a bit of randomness on whether you draw Jiraxxus before or after Deck of Chaos. If Deck of Chaos is near the bottom of your deck, boy is your deck going to suck. Unless it doesn't suck. But how would you make a deck that was based around Deck of Chaos not suck if you didn't draw Deck of Chaos? Thus is the problem of a card that's a legendary, which you kind of have to draw in order for your deck to work. Questlock can shuffle cards back into their deck with Plot Twist, but then you don't know necessarily whether, again, you'll draw the Deck of Chaos before drawing the other cards. And also I looked at Plot Twist, Warlock, Questlock's win rate, and it's quite bad. It's very, very bad. So I'm currently feeling big meme on this. Paladin gets Lothraxion the Redeemed. It's a demon in Paladin, 5 mana 5/5. Battle cry for the rest of the game. After you summon a Silverhand recruit, give it a Divine Shield. He's a redeemed demon. Ho ho! Maybe this could be good in a control Paladin. We're starting to see some real Silverhand recruit synergy, not only for your hero power, but also for cards you simply summon. I imagine if you want to play a control Paladin, you gotta stall the game out with air raids. Air raid looks really tempting with Lothraxion. And even if the hero power benefit or the card benefit isn't that great, it's a demon, which is definitely a very unique tribe in Paladin, which is important if you're playing N'Zoth God of the Deep, because hey, when you play N'Zoth, you'll get a free 5/5 with it if you're playing that demon. Seems potentially worth it to me. It's one of those cards where if the meta allows you to hit your hero power each turn and for the game to last a while, Lothraxion will definitely pay off. We'll have to see if we live in that kind of meta. Druid has Greybow, a legendary 5 mana 4/6 with Taunt and Death Rattle. Give a random friendly minion Death Rattle, summon Greybow. Because Greybow requires you to have other minions on the board, it seems like it's a good fit into a deck that wants to get out there early. And what type of Druid deck gets out on the board early? A token Druid deck. And maybe it could work, because Greybow does pay off quite a lot if you can get a bunch of this Death Rattle to actually work. You want it to die while you have a minion on the board. It's as simple as that. Your opponent will try to clear off the other minions you have on the board first before clearing Greybow. But sometimes that's very hard when Greybow is, he's got Taunt. Even if you play him on an empty board, at worst it's a 5 mana 4/6 Taunt. That's not the end of the world, right? That's Druid of the Claw in the Taunt form. And back in my day, we used to play Druid of the Claw as a good card, as a 5 mana 4/6 Taunt. This has a major bonus where it comes back if it dies, if you fulfill the condition. And if you fulfill the condition again, it comes back again. That's potentially very, very sweet. Bulovan Strike, 5 mana rogue spell, destroy a minion. It's baseline Assassinate, however, it can cost significantly less. In fact, it already pre-game costs less if you have Cthulhu in your deck, because if you begin the game with Cthulhu in your deck, you already have 4 cards that didn't belong in your deck. That's a 1 mana Assassinate. You could play that on turn 1. This might fit into some sort of value rogue deck. I know. Value rogue, it's rare that archetype ever works out, but it did work out once, at least, throughout like the 10 times that I called it. A Galakron Rogue, that was a archetype that worked. Rogue was the deck that looked most likely for Cthulhu already, since Stowaway could draw the Cthulhu parts, so maybe this is all part of a greater idea. Hopefully more Ticketmaster-esque cards would be printed, with shuffle tickets or something. Will a package like that exist in this set? We'll see. If it does, Bulovan Strike will get better or worse, depending. Another card for the value rogue archetype, I think, is Tenmu of the Red Smoke. 2 mana 3/2, battle cry, return a friendly minion to your hand. It costs 1 this turn. While there are combo applications to this card, where you play the big card effect, you play Tenmu, and then you play the big card effect again, I find this more likely to be good in a value deck, because I think you want to utilize the minion that you played on the board, and then return it to your hand with Tenmu, and then play it immediately. It's less likely to be a combo application, because it only costs 1 for 1 turn. This card is better than Shadowstep in all situations where the card costs 3 or more mana, and you had intended to immediately play the Shadowstep minion. So a common play used to be you would play Evil Miscreant, and then you would Shadowstep and then play it again. Well, Tenmu is just better. You can play the Evil Miscreant, and then you can play the Tenmu, and then you can play the Evil Miscreant again. Same amount of mana, but you get a 3/2 alongside that. And it works in all sorts of battle cries, combos, healing potential. The higher mana you get with Tenmu that you get back in your hand, the greater the mana savings, the greater the effect. I do actually believe that the right place for Tenmu is exactly in a value rogue deck, which is tough. We'll see whether or not that deck works. Hunter gets Rinling's Rifle. It's the Hunter Legendary for 4 mana 2/2 weapon. After your hero attacks, discover a secret and cast it. Got a bunch of critiques on my stream that seemed like a boring legendary, and you know, this is actually a little bit of a surprise. I agree. It's not a flashy legendary, but it's a strong one. This is very similar to the 4-mana Arcane Keysmith from Mage. For that, you got a 4-mana 2/2 minion that discovered a secret and played it. A 2/2 weapon is better than a 2/2, and this gives you an extra secret, so seems quite a bit better than Arcane Keysmith, which was played in Highlander Mage. Similarly, I think this is a solid card to play in Highlander Hunter, but also perhaps good enough to just be a serious consideration into any hunter. It's a good generalist card, especially with Petting Zoo getting revealed as well. Petting Zoo gets stronger, and it seems like if you have a deck with Petting Zoo in it, you also want Rinling's Rifle. Deck of Lunacy! It's a mage legendary spell for 2 mana. Transform spells in your deck into ones that cost 3 more. When you play this, all your cards in your deck transform into any class's spells that are 3 cost higher than the base price of the spell in your deck. So let's suppose you have a Ice Barrier in your deck. Maybe it transforms into Skull of Gul'dan, and then when you draw your Skull of Gul'dan, it'll cost 3 to play the original cost Ice Barrier. That's Lunacy! Now, unfortunately, having reviewed every single class's spells at every single mana cost, I come to the conclusion that this was printed as an intentional meme card and is probably not a good card to put in your deck. They probably tried out a bunch of this deck and it was, you know, I can't possibly imagine that this was play tested and intended to be a serious deck, yeah? It reminds me of Renounced Darkness. Playing a random deck and having to insert a card in order to play a random deck, and the benefit just being that the spell parts cost 3 less, is probably not a big enough benefit to justify running the deck of Lunacy. For what it's worth, I do think this card is probably worth playing if you get it randomly generated and put into your hand. Random spells that cost 3 more than the cards that you purposely put in your deck, they're still probably better when, you know, they cost 3 more in the late game. You want bigger spells. And if you happen to have the deck of Lunacy in your deck, it's generally a good play, but you will probably not find that including the actual card in your deck is good. So my conclusion is, what a Lunacy card. You'd have to be a lunatic to put this in, but great card for memers. And let me finish out with a fresh new Mage secret card. 6 mana 5/5 Sage, Seer of Darkmoon. Battlecry, draw 1 card, upgraded for each friendly secret that has triggered this game. And that upgrades even if he's in your deck. This looks like it's the cherry on top for your secret mage deck. A big problem with the secret mages of the past were that they ran out of fuel because, you know, you play a bunch of these low-cost secrets and secret synergies, and you run out of steam. Well, Sage looks like he solves that problem while providing a decently sized body at the same time. Pretty spooky. I think I can see Sage easily drawing 4 cards. So is a 6 mana 5/5 draw 4 pretty good? Yes it is. It's pretty straightforward to say that you want to play Sage if you have a secret mage deck. It's a legendary, you only get 1 copy of it, but kind of similar to Myra's Unstable Element, that extra push at the end might just be what you need to finish out the game. Are we at a critical mass of secrets for Secret Mage for Secret Mage to be the next big deck? We'll have to find out. Look forward to more cards from Madness at the Darkmoon Faire.